Lesson 30, page 76 and 77. Now, in lesson 29, we were introduced to eighth notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and So we're dealing more with eighth notes this time, and we also have to remember the fermata, because that's going to be in these songs. It could be in any song now. All these things that we're learning, the crescendo, diminuendo or decrescendo, forte, piano, mezzo forte, repeat signs, fermatas, the sign we learned last time, that's with the half crescent and the dot in the middle. All these things could happen. There's no rules to limit these things now. As more of these manipulations to how you play a specific thing or what you do or different musicalities are all added to your toolbox now. They can all be utilized at any time. So be careful, be mindful, keep looking for stuff and try and just take it all in. But like before I play these pieces, I go over at that dynamic level. Is there a repeat sign or not? If there's certain changes or tricky things, and I'm trying to give you hints as to what I'm looking at as I start to play them or I begin to play them. So this says, this piece will prepare you to play eighth notes, play it at a very moderate speed, count out loud very evenly. The sign, the fermata, over the G in the sixth measure is a fermata or hold sign. Hold the note longer than its value. We went over that in lesson 29. So play it again, say or sing the words if you want to. This is called Shoe Fly Shoe. No repeat sign, right hand only. 1, 2, 3, 4. Thumb moves to B. So what I said out loud is measure 3, your thumb moves down to B. It's a 1 above your finger, but if you're only looking at finger numbers and not what the notes are, you're going to play C because that's where your thumb is normally, on C. But you have to look at the note heads, where it is on the staff. Make sure you're paying attention to that. So you get that, measure 3, you do 2, 2, 1, 1 on B. So I'll play the whole thing a little bit quicker. 1, 2, 3, 4. Longer than value. Alright, so now counting eighth notes. 2 eighth notes are played in the time of 1 quarter note. To count the music containing eighth notes, divide each beat in 2 parts by counting 1 and or quarter for each quarter note. That doesn't help me. What helps me is to know that I can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I can count 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and they both take up the same amount of time in music. It's just by counting 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and I am dividing this beat up. There's even more divisions. Right? There's 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and triplet, 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 triple. Like there's lots of things you can do. So you want to just be comfortable dividing the beat up with the ands. And knowing that you can count quarter notes and play 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and or 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. Counting the eighth notes by saying and doesn't mean you have to play eighth notes. It's just the subdivision of the measure. And it's like when you make a grid and you have your rows and columns. It's the same outer perimeter. It's just you're evenly dividing up the interior of that perimeter with more and more subdivisions, but it's still the same perimeter or the same left to right distance. So playing the song on bottom, Skip to My Lou, no repeat, fermata in the middle of the second line, right hand only, mezzo forte, brightly. Looks real similar to the Shoe Fly Shoe. Let's compare them real quick. E, E, C, C, E, E, G. E, E, C, C, E, 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 G. Ooh, those eighth notes are new. D, D, B, B, D, D, F. D, D, B, B, D, 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 F. Ooh, those eighth notes are new. E, E, C, C, E, E, G. E, E, C, C, E, 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 G. Those eighth notes are new. D, F, E, D, C, C. D, E, F, E, D, C, C. So those eighth notes are new. So it looks like the second measure of each two measure phrase has two eighth notes on beat 2. So I'm giving you all this analysis that break this into a two measure phrase. Beat 2 of the second measure has 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. That's different from 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's measure 2, measure 4, and measure 6. Measure 7 is 1, 2, and 3, 4. It doesn't have a half note on beat 3 and 4. It has 2 quarter notes on beat 3 and 4. But that 1, 2, and 3, getting all the way into beat 3, is the same on measure 2, 4, 6, and 7. So these are all things that you want to be looking at and examining, and you can compare. When something seems similar, compare it. See what's alike, what's new, what's not new material that you've already played before, though. So it shouldn't be a bogged down thing, because we know if you could play the top song, Shoe Fly Shoe, just fine. Well, measures 1, 3, 5, and 7 are, and 8. No, 1, 3, 5, and 8 are identical. Measures 2, 4, 6, and 7 have just changed beat 2 to be eighth notes. So that's all that's new. Skip to my loo. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. And you want it to sound like you would sing it. Lost my partner, skip to my loo. Lost my partner, skip to my loo. Lost my partner, skip to my loo. Skip to the loo, my darling. Alright. 77. Now you have a whole song and something new. Look at the stuff in pink or red or whatever color you want to describe that in your book, or if you're looking at the pages at the end. DC al fine means de capo al fine. Go back to the beginning and play until you see the word fine, or finished, or end. So if you look at page 77, you play line 1, line 2. At the end of line 2 it says fine, and there's a double bar line. That means the end of a song. But we have more music here. And if you pay attention to all the details, it's in 4/4 time, but it starts with an incomplete measure. Also, measure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The last measure of line 2 with the double bar line at the end of it is an incomplete measure of beats 1, 2, and 3. It's missing beat 4, the very beginning of the piece. Now look at if you continued. This is an incomplete measure, 1, 2, 3, 4. Beat 4 of measure 8 is the very beginning of the third line in the right hand, E, D sharp, 2 eighth notes. Beats 4 and, because it's eighth notes. 4 and. Then you have measures 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 are all fine. Measure 16, it says DC al fine underneath. De capo al fine. Go back to the beginning, play to fine. But look, beat 1, 2, 3. Then there's a double bar line, but it doesn't look like the normal double bar line. It's 2 thin ones. That means that's the end of the music, but it's not over. So you go back to the beginning. There's beat 4 of the last line. There it is. 1, 2, 3, back to the beginning. 4 starts on an incomplete measure. And then you continue on, line 1 and 2 again, till you get to the word fine. So, in a nutshell, you're doing line 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, done. I'm going to play it for you. Pause it, practice it. There is starts mezzo forte. There is a crescendo to forte, continues forte. Diminuendo back to mezzo forte. Crescendo to forte, diminuendo to mezzo forte. It does that again when you repeat lines 1 and 2. Rhythmically, not too fast. Pause it, ba ba ba. Play it. Standing in the need of prayer. 1, 2, 3. Standing in the need of prayer. That's the end of lesson 30. Here is page 76 and 77. Now you'll take a look here. There's fine. There's an actual double bar. Incomplete measure starts on beat 4. 4/4 time. The last complete beat is 4. So 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And then here you have the eighth notes. 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the incomplete measure. 1, 2, 3, 4. Am I close to an E? I was close to an E. I think it was an E flat. Whatever. Yeah, that's this piece. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Practice, practice. Any questions, let me know.